Some ideas just don't fly. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British shows that never took off. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at shows which were either surprisingly underrated or they underperformed during their limited run. These productions fell well short of expectations and were swiftly removed from our screens. Number 10, It's Now or Never. A Saturday night show where people aim to prove to their closest friends and family just how much they care for them, headed by one of the public's favourite presenters, Philip Schofield. It should have been a recipe for success. Instead, It's Now or Never was cancelled after just one episode. A second instalment was released after a 5-month interval, but then no more after that. The fact that it fizzled out fast is perhaps even more surprising, given that the one episode which did air featured a live marriage proposal, aided by a flash mob. Number 9, The Royal Bodyguard. Sir David Jason is TV royalty, with his successes including, but not limited to, Only Fools and Horses and A Touch of Frost.
I believe you're expecting me, Guy Hubble, Royal Bodyguard.
But this was one place where his prestige as an actor just couldn't carry a doomed show, derided by fans across the country. While the first episode of The Royal Bodyguard went out on Boxing Day to over 8 million viewers, by the end of the series, just 2.8 million had stuck around for the finale.
Security is about 360-degree awareness. You never know where the next threat may be coming from.
Many complain that the show was relying too much on Jason, but giving him a perpetually unfunny script to work with.
Well, sir, I won't salute if you don't mind, because I don't want to draw attention to myself.
Good idea.
Number 8, Chickens. According to this failed period comedy, half of the cast of The Inbetweeners equals half the viewing figures.
Well, this has been the worst one so far.
Simon Baird and Joe Thomas ought to pull quite the audience, and both have done in their successful separate shows Friday Night Dinner and Fresh Meat, but for whatever reason, Chickens just didn't land with viewers.
So what I'm saying is...
Are you saying that you've missed my own husband more than I have?
It's a Dad's Army-esque story of a group of men who don't join the British Army to fight in World War I, thus becoming social pariahs. But the often solid comedy writing was also plagued with historical inaccuracies, and everyone switched off sharpish.
Oh Jesus, I can't even... Oh, the ramifications. Well done, mate, all the best. She's wearing the ring, mate, she wasn't this morning.
Number 7, Bring the Noise. Never mind the Buzzcocks ended in 2015, which left quite the vacuum for a music-themed panel show on British telly.
And welcome to Bring the Noise on Sky One, the show where the biggest names in entertainment come together to celebrate everything we love about music.
In swept Bring the Noise, presented by Ricky Wilson of the Kaiser Chiefs and featuring Nicole Scherzinger, Tiny Temper, Joel Dommett and Catherine Ryan as its weekly regulars.
No, you don't touch the leg.
Okay.
Don't touch it.
Reach for the stars, okay?
It looked set to take the baton from Buzzcocks, but failed on all fronts. Lacking any kind of positive viewer engagement, Sky soon axed it, despite the high calibre of its guests, stars and flashy set pieces.
Joel Dommett, John Bradley and KTB, thank you very much, good night.
Number 6, Celebrity Wrestling. Another ITV game show stinker, this one suffered not just a poor premise and little draw, but an unfortunate scheduling conflict. Because it also had the same Saturday evening slot as the BBC's Doctor Who revival in the spring of 2005, which proved a ratings juggernaut. There was really no competition.
Knock her out with my knuckers.
Led by Kate Thornton and rowdy Roddy Piper, teams of Z-list celebrities were trained to become professional wrestlers. But the show had precious little genuine wrestling content or genuine entertainment value. Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper running from Daleks, or semi-famous celebs in spandex. Which would you rather?
Now the Vixen, one, maybe two pushes to get the brawler into the pit, and down she goes.
Number 5, Red or Black. Produced by Simon Cowell and presented by Anton Deck, this was an intense, high-stakes game show in the vein of Deal or No Deal, or The £1 Million Drop.
Will it be red?
But the pair who presented it have since revealed that even they knew after the first night that Red or Black wasn't going to be the success ITV wanted.
You know, I've enjoyed the day and whatever, but yeah, it's disappointing.
And despite big changes being made for its second series, namely trying to cut its bloated budget, it was still a ratings disaster. A ratings disaster with a giant gimmicky roulette table in the back of shot, it was a gamble that didn't pay off.
It's gone, it's a dud!
Number 4, Fame Academy. Even though it did have a dedicated but small fanbase, the BBC's answer to Pop Idol was an immense failure.
But I have to listen to it, so you will be doing the ballet. How does that grab you?
Following a group of publicly sourced up-and-coming youngsters who have one thing in common, they want to be famous, Fame Academy was like a trial run for the giant talent shows of later years. Everyone on it was competing for a record deal, a luxurious flat and a sports car. And some of them do still have careers in music today. But most viewers believe that it only got a second series because, weirdly enough, its comic relief spoof was much more popular. Number 3, Davina. After becoming a household name while presenting Big Brother for years, it's not exactly surprising that networks would want to capitalise on Davina McCall's popularity by giving her a talk show all of her own.
How are you?
Well, I'm better after that. What a shocking intro that was.
Unfortunately, despite her own experience as a presenter and the famous guests she interviewed, including Girls Aloud, the public just weren't tuning in to watch.
I think one of the things that sets you apart is obviously you're quite naughty.
Davina's not the only big name to trip up with a self-titled BBC talk show though. The Michael McIntyre chat show also failed to earn a second series.
I don't know, I just think maybe because it's so far away, maybe they feel like when they're here, they've just got to be really Australian, you know?
Number 2, Play to the Whistle. Its ratings may have continually dropped since the show started, but ITV insists that sports-themed panel show Play to the Whistle was only axed because of the busy schedules of its host, Holly Willoughby, and two team captains, Bradley Walsh and Frank Lampard. Considering they all do have a heap of other commitments, it's an explanation that's not so hard to believe. But let's not ignore the ongoing accusations that this game show relentlessly ripped off a league of their own. ITV promised it would return with a World Cup special in 2018, but alas, that never happened. Not that anyone minded. Number 1, The Nightly Show. Chat shows are clearly a sketchy genre. Get a winning combination and you can be on air for decades. But anything less than that and you're doomed to fail.
I told you, fucking wait. Gotcha! And got you as well!
The Nightly Show featured a rotating roster of hosts including Davina McCall, again, John Bishop and David Walliams, but they weren't enough to save it from the chopping block.
What is a classic Irish stereotype? The thick Englishman.
Even big-name guests like John Cleese couldn't pull in an audience of note, as the apparent attempt to replicate the American talk show style fell spectacularly flat. It died a quick death on our screens, or at least on the screens of the few people who tuned in.
Okay. I am the one I know. Nobody ever.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.